This is the closer framework. Arguably, in my personal opinion, the best sales framework slash script that you can run on any sales call. No matter what you sell, your ICP, your niche, whatever it might be, it is probably the best framework, the easiest to learn, and allows the call to flow nice and smoothly. So starting off with C, what you want to do is clarify why the person's actually on the call. What made them book the call? What I like to say is like, hey man, why'd you book the call? Super straightforward. And there's a bunch of other variances and openers that you can start with. Like today, I'm just going to ask you loads of questions, figure out a bit about what you do, whether or not we're a fit. If we are a fit, then I can go ahead and talk to you about what we do, and you can decide whether or not you'd like to move forward on that, and we can get started right away today. But if not, no worries at all. At least I'll be able to point you in the right direction. Something like that. You just want to clarify why they're there. Don't skip this. Don't let small talk drag on for 5 or 10 minutes. You always want to get a point down as to why they've actually booked the call. So this is a super important step. You cannot skip the very first letter of the closer framework because you can't sell or provide someone with the right thing if you don't actually know what they came for. Moving on to L is you want to then label them with the problem. So once they've told you what they want, you kind of reflect the problem back to them. So you identify the gap of where they are now versus where they want to be. So you say something like, well, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I've got this right, the real issue is that you don't need more leads. It's that when you get busy delivering, the pipeline goes dead, and 2 months later, there's a revenue kind of gap. Is that fair? Or right now, you're 80 kilos, and it sounds like you want to get down to 70 kilos, nice and lean with sub 10% body fat, something like that, but you don't have the diet, accountability, coaching, gym program to get you there. Is that correct? That kind of thing. So when you label it correctly, something kind of clicks in their head and they say, yeah, this person actually gets me, and they understand the situation that I'm in and they understand where I'm trying to get to. And you do not move on until they say, yes, that's exactly right. If they're like, oh, not quite, it's like, okay, what have I missed? You just keep going back in this dance of figuring out where they are versus where they want to be. Loads of people just skip this, and if you skip this, you don't identify where the person is versus where they want to be, and that's the entire point of a sale, right? Or a transformation or coaching or accountability or whatever it might be. So the third step is to then overview their past pain. So this is what a lot of people skip, and you want to walk them back through what they've already tried and what it cost them. So okay, then what have you already tried in the past to achieve this or to fix this? Oh, I've tried blah, blah, blah. Okay, how did that go? Obviously, it didn't go well. That's why they're on the call with you. Oh, how did that go? And then they'll be like, oh, well, it wasn't, blah, blah, blah. Oh, why? Why wasn't it great? What happened? What went wrong? And you're just digging out ammunition, essentially, about why they weren't happy with the past experiences or their lack of trying to get it sorted. They didn't have the time. They didn't have the money. They didn't have the investment. They didn't have the knowledge. They didn't know where to start. They tried something and got burnt. Oh, why'd you get burnt, man? And then if someone says they got burnt because they didn't have the right amount of support or coaching or anything like that, that's when in your head, you're kind of writing down later on when you diagnose the problem and your solution, that support and one-to-one accountability and one-to-one coaching is very important for this person. So you want to say, look, man, I'm going to give you the support that you said you were lacking on the other one. Here's exactly how I'm going to do that. So it's kind of just building ammunition for later on in the call. So here's the thing, Hormozi says the pain is the pitch. If you can articulate someone's pain more accurately than they can, then they'll probably buy. It's that simple. So when they say the cost out loud, I've been stuck here for 3 months now and I haven't been able to achieve my dream body. It's really impacting my confidence and I'm just not feeling myself right now and I'm just not feeling super confident in myself and I'd like to go to the beach and be able to take my top off, whatever it might be. You get the point, okay? If that's like a fitness or health related offer. With something financial, it's like, okay, what's that actually costing you? Like a dead quarter with less leads. Each lead is worth $500, something like that. So 20% close rate, you kind of do the math with them and figure out exactly how much they're losing on that. And S is where you want to sell the vacation, not the plane flight. So for example, Hormozi talks about this in his books. He says, sell Maui, the holiday destination. Nobody gets excited about going through TSA, going through security, the leg room on the plane, safety briefing, tray tables, checking in, customs, security, all of that kind of thing. But they tolerate it to get to the beach. So if I was selling you a plane ticket, if I was selling you a trip to Maui, I'm not going to be like, hey man, you're going to have to get on this plane. You're going to have to sit on it for 12 hours. You're going to have to listen to a kid screaming and someone kicking the back of your chair. You're going to have to do this, this, this. All I'm going to say is, man, when you get to Maui, you're going to absolutely love it. The water's crystal clear. It's great weather, it's great temperature. Your partner or your friend or whatever is going to love it. You're going to love it. You're going to have a great time. It's trip of a lifetime. Like those are all the things. And I'm not even going to mention the plane flight. So for example, if you're some sort of like lead gen or something like that, instead of being like, oh, we'll build your list, write your campaigns, we'll manage your deliverability, handle the follow-ups, like nobody really cares about that. You want to be like, look, man, you'll wake up to qualified calls in your calendar. Your pipeline will stay full whether you're delivering or not. And you don't really have to think about where the next client's coming from. Does that sound good? And they're going to be like, yeah, that sounds awesome. It's like, cool, because that's the destination. They don't really care about how the sausage is made. They just care about what they get on the other side. E is where you now go into explaining away their concerns and kind of the objection handling dance. That's a whole nother video on objection handling. However, with that being said, you can kind of go ahead and frame the objection. So if they said, oh, they didn't have the time or the investment or the accountability earlier, and that's costed them XYZ, it's like, well, look, man, like if you did have that, where do you think you would have been? Like, I don't even think we would have been on this call today if you had all of that 6 months ago. Like, you'd be where you want to be today. Is that fair? So then when they bring up, oh, it's a lot, or I don't have the time, whatever, it's like, sounds like you're just repeating old habits. And you're going to continuously keep kicking the can down the road and not actually taking action on this. So you want to just handle their concern and then ask whether or not it puts their mind at ease. One of the great lines that I like to use is, what you're afraid of having happen. It's just like man to man. Look, man, like no ego, no bullshit, all of that aside, like what are you afraid of having happen? How can I put your mind at ease? Like what's going on? Let me in a little bit, you know? They're like, oh man, I've just been burnt before. Or I've just paid a lot for these types of things. I'm not sure it'll work for me. It's like, all right, let's just dig that down. Like, what do you mean it won't work for you? Why are you specifically? We've helped over 200 people achieve this outcome. Do you think you'll be the odd one out? Like, what's going on here? Just have a bit of a conversation with them. Once you've got that sorted and the deal is done on the call, ideally, you know, pay in full or payment plan or whatever it might be, that's when you want to reinforce the decision. Like, look, man, amazing. Like a lot of people that I see sales calls videos, even when they close, they're like, cool, man, sweet. Well, I will be in touch within 24 hours or whatever. What we like to do is like, sweet, man, thanks for jumping on board. What we're going to do now is set up the Slack channel. We're going to set up the domains and the mailboxes and the infrastructure right here on the call right now. So we actually start moving. What this does is it removes buyer's remorse completely. A lot of people will then go to bed and think about it, wake up the next day, go, oh, have I made the right decision? Whatever. But the moment that they pay you, the moment that they invest in themselves and you, that's what you want to be like, look, man, this is the best decision you've ever made. And we're going to start taking the first steps right now. For example, if you had a fitness offer about helping them with the gym program, you just go into like a questionnaire straight away, or like building out their gym program, getting to know a little bit about their diet, what they're allergic to, what they like to eat, their sleep patterns, their day-to-day life, like just really start to get to know them and build that first building block, because they're going to be like, oh, wow, this guy's putting, or girl is putting in a lot of effort to, you know, get me off the mark. And then when you end all of that, it's like, sweet, man, we're already off the mark. We're already making progress on this. This is amazing. And then by then you probably got to hop on another call or whatever. Then you can be like, sweet, man, next step from here is we're going to whatever your next pillar is. Okay. So that gives them the confidence where they can leave that call, be like, wow, holy shit, this guy's legit, or girl is legit. Like, wow, that was really, really good. I'm really happy that we went ahead with this decision. So if that was helpful, we run sales training calls every Thursday inside of the community in here. So all you need to do is click into the calendar and click into sales training, and we can jump on live. There's usually like 2, 3, or 4 people on that. It's a pretty small group. It's not like a massive guru thing with hundreds of people on there and you have to raise your hand to ask a question, something like that. It's very collaborative. And we do sales training, sharpen your skills and adapt sales to your personality. So my opinion, sales isn't about like, oh, when this person says this, then you have to say this, or use this talk track, or use this, use that. It's just kind of like a flow. That's why the closer framework's so good, because the first third of it is just getting to know the person. And then only once you're confident you can actually help them, that's when you move into the S, the E, the R. Okay. Anyway, so on these calls, we run scripts, objection handling, role plays, practice. We look at live videos of sales calls that you might have had that you didn't close or you did close or whatever it might be. Help with asking for the sale, collecting payment, objection handling, all of that kind of stuff. So loads of fun. If that was helpful, I hope to see you on one of those calls. Thank you.